Hey everybody, it's Sabrina. Welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I am going to share another part of November Project Life 2024. I was really hoping to make this a longer video and finish up November, but I just didn't get to it, and that's okay. But I have two spreads to share with you, and this first one's kind of unique because it's something that happens in my area where I live in California, and that is the salmon migration. We get to see them every November, and that's what we did in this project right here. We went on a hike down to the river to see the salmon making their way up the river. And I am using some old pieces from Ali Edwards' Stories by the Month, and I reprinted one of the cards, the collage grid card. I changed the colors on that, and I also have November Gratitudes, and then I reprinted the brown leaf card. I also want to kind of, since there is a picture of a fish, I just want to make it look more fallish, I guess. So that's why I grabbed some leaves. I have that brown leaf card. So I'm kind of going into the leaf theme, and I looked in my stash and I have several die cut leaves that I can use. So what I'm going to do is make a cluster of leaves on the grid card. I'm going to use a giant orange one and then two others, and right in the center I'll put a chipboard that says give thanks. And so I'm able to use up some older chipboard and also use up some of those leaves, which I absolutely love those leaves. They were a die cut pack, and they're several years old. I haven't even used up all of them, so it's good that I'm using them up. And I will put another small cluster over on the photo of the vultures. It's kind of interesting. I mean, it's a whole cycle of life when you go down to the river. You see the salmon. You also see hundreds of seagulls because they're, getting the dead salmon. And then you have the vultures circling and up in the trees. And so, yeah, it's super, super interesting. And this year when we went, we actually saw some scientists taking samples of the fish. We saw them in the water taking samples, and we also saw them in a boat. And so they had their charts, they had their tools, and it was really, really cool to see. But just so fun, and we get to see that like in our own backyard, so very cool. And I had obviously a ton of photos, and I even grabbed a family photo, and everybody was smiling, so that's great. Another old chipboard that I used up was my people right now, and I put that in the corner of the photo of the kids and I, and just keeping everything very simple. I know I say that in most of these Project Life videos, but really that's what it is for me, was 6x8. Keep it simple, and lately even simpler. Like, I'm getting these pages done in 20 minutes or less. Like, let's just keep on moving forward. And I've got I've got all of 2024 mapped out, and then 2023 almost. I just have to map out a little bit of December. So I'm making some really good progress. I mean, it would be just amazing if I could get Project Life 2024 finished before the end of the year, but we shall see, because December daily season is here. So for the gratitudes, I put that it was nice to have extra family time this week because we were off from school, and I so enjoy the hikes and adventures, even with kid antics. And then I talked about the salmon process, and I also mentioned, I don't know if you can see it, but it is in the grid. There's like my shoes. I love finding hearts in nature, and so it was a rock shaped as a heart, and I always think of that as a sign of like goodness and joy. And then the last one was just saying that we enjoyed the weather and the changing leaves and all the different wildlife that we get to see. Like I said, a whole cycle of life. All right, I'm going to put this into the page protectors, and then the next spread is going to be even simpler, and it's going to be a weekly spread. So this is week 47, I want to say, and I decided to do a grid, and I do not like lining things up at all. So I took my HP paper and turned the photos down, the opacity, and then printed it out. And now I'm laying it over the top of some cardstock. And then I'll use the back of the cardstock for another project. But that way, having it already printed out, I know exactly where to put my photos. It's easy peasy. And I even, like I said, I made it easier because I decided I'm only going to have one journaling card and one place for journaling. And that's it. I have a spot over in the top right. You can see that it looks like a beige spot right there. I printed out on that same piece of paper that included the grid collage. I printed that out so that way I could know the size of it. But I thought I would do journaling maybe, but instead I'm just going to make a really pretty cluster of different, embellishments. So it's just a collage about what went on during the week, and I will use all the little stories from this particular week to make my current gratitude list, because I love the colors in this Stories by the Month kit. I believe it's from last year. So I want to use it and kind of lean into the pink. I love the idea of having the pink, and my photos do have some red in them, so I think it's going to work really nicely. I took the vellum and I focused on cutting out the red and the kind of yellows and golds, and then I put a chipboard right on the top of it. And I also have the pink word phrase stickers, and so I'm going to use a bunch of those. And I took that vellum and I just glued it right on top of that empty spot. I don't have to cover it up with white. I mean, I could have, but you don't really have to. I mean, I know I left it a color. Probably when I printed it, I should have changed the color, but oh well, who cares? We're just going to keep moving. So I put that pretty chipboard over the top of it, and right below it, I put thankful for this, and I like how that word phrase sticker kind of just blends in to the vellum. There's a box above the current gratitude list, and so I'm going to fill in that box with word phrase stickers. So much goodness in this moment and sharing November stories, and I love that. I love filling that in. And now that photo of my daughter, it is absolutely priceless and hilarious at the same time. We were at the store shopping for some stuff, and I saw some bottle brush trees, and my daughter knows I'm obsessed with them. And she took her whole body and was like hiding them. And she's like, don't you dare, you cannot have any of those. And I was able to get a photo, and it was the best. Like I've always said, I know I've said at least a few times on this channel, shopping with my kids, always an adventure. So for the journaling, I talked about beautiful leaves falling, and then my daughter at the store. I made a big purchase because I'm working now and I saved up for it. I bought myself a MacBook and I was proud of myself. There was also cozy reading with the cats and fun dessert trays. I also added in one little story about spending time together to go see a play, but there was no photo of that, and that's okay. My daughter baked yummy pretzels with chocolate and peppermint. We're also starting to decorate for Christmas, and then watching good shows and movies. And that's it. There is a box on the far left to check it off or something. I don't know what you could put there, but I decided to just put nothing and, call it good enough. And you guys, that's it. That's how simple these pages are. And I don't know, I haven't thought too much about Project Life for next year, but I do love 6x8. I do love Project Life, but I don't know if it's going to be a monthly approach. That's kind of what I'm leaning towards. But these are my 2 spreads that I have to share with you guys. I hope you enjoyed them. They are quick, simple, easy, and I appreciate you taking the time to watch. I would love a thumbs up or a subscribe if you are new to my channel. Have a wonderful day. Bye.